Hey Primatech peeps, welcome back to Primatech Files, or should I say PrimatechCast or Heroes Files? Because here I am doing a special roundtable type thing again with this time the guys from the HeroesCast. So, do you guys want to introduce yourself? We got Laura, James, and Miranda.
Hello.
Hi, I'm James.
Hello, everyone. This is Miranda.
And I just want to thank you all for coming on, and it's really great that, people can collaborate and not have beef. Let's go with that.
No beef here.
No beef.
Also, I would like to say that I love Primatech peeps, and we should have a name for people who listen to our podcast, Miranda. We need to start working on that.
It's a really weird thing, trying to come up with a name for Heroes fans. Apart from
HeroesCast homies.
Yes, that's a good one. So, I guess we'll get started with a couple of questions. Let's just start off really simple with what have your thoughts been on the season thus far? And I'll go with Miranda first.
My thoughts of the season so far. I'm going to say, overall, I have enjoyed it. I know everybody has had some nitpicky things, but I've sort of looked past the nitpicky things and just enjoyed the ride. I will say, as everybody knows already, that my favorite part of it is the Katana Girl and Ren, and then, of course, I love HRG and Hero. So, yes, I like the show overall so far. The nitpicking things don't bother me.
Yeah, fair enough. Laura?
This season has been a roller coaster for me. I really like it in some parts, and I really have strong feelings of dislike for it in other parts, especially the fall finale.
Yeah, the quote-unquote full finale.
Yep, that was not a good feeling for me. So I would say I'm about 60% on Heroes Reborn so far.
Fair enough. And James, you obviously first-time watcher, so how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, as a first-timer, I was going into it, a little excited to start off promising. I don't like the way things have turned certain ways, certain directions the show has been going in the past couple episodes, like that finale. I thought they should have ended the finale in a different place, as opposed to the army of Harrises and whatnot. This past week's episode was really weird, where they went to the Oz and stuff. There was people singing and dancing. That was a little strange, but no. Overall, I've enjoyed it, and in the HeroesCast, we've been kind of doing hiatus episodes, also of older ones.
Yeah,
talking about older ones, and watching those has kind of made me a little more excited to go back and finish this off when they come back. But
it's going to be weird going back and watching it, because we watched it before the actual show started up, so we were kind of refreshed. But so we can pick up a lot more of the little Easter eggs. But I don't know how I would be watching the show for the first time and just being how much is going over my head the whole time. But
oh yeah, I've been eggless.
Yeah. I just feel like a Heroes apologist the whole time. Do you guys find that? Right?
That's what anybody that's asked me about watching Heroes Reborn, the people that have enjoyed the first series, I've told them to wait and marathon the whole thing in January. That's been and I know that's a terrible thing to say, but that's been my experience, that if even the people who were not watching at the beginning and marathoned the first 7 or 8 episodes, they enjoyed them much more, I think, than the people who are watching them week to week.
Heroes has always been one of those shows that feels much better when you get everything back to back, because you don't have that kind of waiting period. We're rewatching them 3 episodes at a time, and I think I watched 3 to 5. So Under the Mask, The Needs of the Many, and what was the other one? I can't even remember the third one. That's how great it was. But it was it was such a chore. And I'm just looking forward to next week when it's game over and the June 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah. Cool.
I definitely think that's where it hit its stride.
Do you think it's because of the original heroes coming back, or do you think it was just a case in point where that was where they knew that they were going to flick a switch?
I don't know. All the time I'm trying to think of an answer for that, because I don't know. I mean, I appreciate seeing the old heroes back, but I almost wish it had been better written from the beginning. That I wanted the new heroes more than I wanted the old heroes,
Yeah.
I don't like any of the the new people enough to be if the old heroes all went away,
Not even Ren and Katana Girl?
Well, I like Ren a lot.
And Phoebe?
I like Quentin a lot.
Yeah.
But
Friggin' Phoebe?
those are the two people that don't actually have powers on the show.
I know.
So
That we know of.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because when we were rewatching the old episodes, I was watching Styler and I was like, man, I just miss like that character. I miss that deviousness. I don't know. I just miss somebody that I can really like be into in the show.
I only watched like 2 episodes with Siler 3 so far, and I can see why you guys I love him, and I've only seen him twice. I mean, obviously, I had no ties to the old heroes, so it didn't really bother me that they weren't in it so long. Like, it took a while to get them incorporated, except for Bennett. I'm kind of biased toward Luke because I love Zach Levi so much.
That's fair
I
enough.
forgot about him.
That's the only guy. I mean, I don't know if I'd like his character if it was anybody else.
Definitely, yeah. Because it was essentially the first five episodes were him crying. I think we had someone say that on one of our previous podcasts. So yeah, and it's pretty much true. But let's just go with the new cast and the new guys, and who is your kind of MVP of them? And I'm talking exclusively about the kind of Heroes Reborn guys. I know Noah kind of is in that vein, but I still class him as Heroes Prime or OG Heroes. So start with James because this is his first watch. So yeah.
The favorite person with abilities, like I like Harris.
Yeah, definitely. It's that silky smooth voice.
I know he's like I know he's the crony. Erica's crony, but I like his ability. I was just thinking of like all the things I'd make myself do before I got dusted or salted.
Salted, yeah. Assaulted.
Assaulted. And his voice.
So silky smooth.
Yes, it's incredible.
And the best thing is watching the first episode and seeing Zach Levi putting on the deep voice, and I was just like, "You're trying too hard." It's like you've just met Clee Bennett / Harris, and was just like, "I'm going to do that." It just didn't work at all.
Well, yeah, the guy who plays Harris, it's like that's how he sounds.
Yeah,
like, that's just him.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Levi, I get it. He's trying to Christian Bale it, but.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought, oh my God, he's trying to sound like Batman. Like,
it makes me sad that Zach Levi was so underutilized too. Like his character has been completely underutilized. But
it's not. Wait, he just took off with Malina.
I'm not surprised HRG is just like, what are you doing with my granddaughter? Let's be honest, it's weird. Laura, who's your favorite? Who's your MVP of the new cast?
I'm gonna have to go Quentin pre-time change.
Yeah. Pre-Butterfly.
Because Quentin, super agent Quentin, who apparently knows everything about the past timeline, it's confusing for me.
Definitely.
But old Quentin, I love him. Like, he's so cute, and it's obviously that he's like the Ando of the new series. But I love him. He's so cute.
I was actually surprised she didn't say the sun because it's about to kill them all.
I don't dislike it that much.
Okay. Oh no, that's Jeff, right?
Yeah, that's Jeff.
Although Jeff's been turning around.
Yeah. If you watch like some of the previous episodes, watch them back with Quentin, everything has like a new context. Like I think I saw one of the episodes today where he was talking with Noah in the car. It seemed like to me he was trying to get information the whole time, whereas before it was just like, oh, it's just this guy trying to find his sister. Now it's like everything's kind of laden, and
I never thought of that.
And I'm still getting confused with like this pre and post Butterfly thing. It is whacking my brain out totally, especially when you go back and watch when Noah is in the hospital and he's watching himself. It's just like, so this was what's going on? No, I'm just going to forget about it now. So yeah. And Miranda, who's your MVP?
I like the Katana Girl.
We're obviously talking about Construct Miko. What happens if real life Miko comes out and she's just a total B1TCH?
Well, then we kill her off and let the construct take her place. Technically, she doesn't have a power, so maybe I shouldn't use her. Well, you used Quentin, so I'm fine. But
I'm sorry, I don't like the powered people. I don't have any connection to them
yeah,
because Nathan's super whiny all the time, which I would understand too, because they made him from cool Nathan into like whiny Nathan for
Yeah.
apparently no reason other than his mother couldn't handle a teenager.
Like, crap, Hero's not around. Wipe him. Wipe his memory.
Oh,
Yeah,
literally,
but-
I was thinking you were talking about literal Nathan
Oh,
Petrelli from
no,
before. I was
sorry.
like, what? He was whiny? No, he was. Anyway, sorry.
Not Tommy Nathan.
Yeah.
Or Tommy not Nathan, whatever.
Too many names.
Yes. Okay, so
Well, wait, you didn't answer the question,
you?
Ricky.
oh me, I'm going straight up with Quentin. I absolutely adore him. I think he's the best, and I think when I first saw that he was cast, I was like, oh, he's going to be chubby sidekick, isn't he? And I kind of knew where it was going. I was like, oh, and he's going to die. And then I totally knew where it was going. And then as soon as like him and HRG kind of hooked up, I was just like invested. No, actually not even, it's not even that. It's from the prequel webisodes where it's him and Phoebe. I was invested in them totally hardcore because I just thought that they were a really refreshing relationship, especially when you compare them to HRG and Claire, because I thought that was it got very one-sided, and I kind of had my fair share of Claire after a while. So yeah, it was nice, and yeah, I even like evil, quote unquote evil Quentin. So yeah.
Evil
I
Quentin's
think
just
everyone
confusing
got-
for me.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
he
him.
is confusing.
I was like mad that he was evil Quentin, but at the same time I was just like, yes, he's alive again.
Don't you think that he's going to end up reverting back to his same let's not hurt everybody self?
I don't know really. I think it's all dependent on, because we still really don't know what Erica's true plan is. Because I'm still wondering whether or not like Evos equate into like her quote unquote new world.
And what she does with Phoebe.
Exactly. I think that's a big case of what's going to happen. What do you guys think of what they did with Heroes Prime cast coming back? Do you like that they've switched them all around and they're not exactly the same? Miranda?
No, I don't like Matt's change.
Oh, I love that change.
Parkman was such an everybody guy, and to find that he gave in, he sold out. And I hate that the everyday guy from the original series is the one that sold out.
I love
If you're
it.
gonna have, it bothers me. But then I was a huge Parkman fan, so other than Matt, everybody else is okay. I'm fine with the Haitian. I'm fine with Bennett. I love that Hero. I'm so glad that Hero was so in. Like there was so much involved with Hero in the story, so I was excited with that. But yeah, other than Matt, I'm fine.
Well, even like he's essentially 5 years gone, Matt, which is what I really like about it. I think it's a breath of fresh air for the
I
character.
might be the minority in disliking Evil Parkman.
How about you, Laura?
I also love Evil Parkman a lot because I think that it's exactly what he would do. Like, I don't think that he was that great of a guy in the original series. Like, I think he was just kind of always looking out for himself. And this is the next step in looking out for himself is, hey, I'm going to hitch my wagon to this lady because she seems like she's going to win over Angela. And apparently so far he's been correct. So I like seeing the Haitian back because actually going back and rewatching the old episodes, you realize like how present the Haitian is throughout the entire series. So like if he wasn't there, I don't know if I would almost feel like he was missing. And then I mean, Hero was never my favorite character from the original, so I guess it's okay that he's back.
You and I have
they
such
need a time traveler, so
different opinions.
Oh, I love Hero as well. I'm so glad we got future Hero.
Yeah, well, I didn't like that he never. I guess it's better that he's like grown up Hero in this series, but in like the old series, he never learned from any of his mistakes. He was always naive and like very childlike. And like, because even after he meets up with Adam, he like doesn't learn from that whole situation and just keeps getting stuck in these situations where he's being used by people or just a damsel in distress basically the whole time.
He's
so,
trusting.
which for a time traveler, I don't think you should be.
But he's not anymore now in the new series.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think it's just I have bias against him now.
James, let's go with what? How many episodes have you watched now? 3?
4.
4.
Of the old series.
4 of the old ones.
Who's your favorite Heroes Prime character?
Well, after watching those 4, the Haitian, he's everywhere. And like, because I do remember when we were watching Reborn, and the Haitian shows up. He goes to see Renee to get his memory back or ask about if he's been there before. And I remember Laura saying, like, why do they bring the Haitian back? Like, she and then you're watching all these old ones, and like, he's in every single one, and he's important, and he's always doing something. He just never talks, so you never realize he's there. But I like the Haitian from the old one. But in this new one, of the old characters, I do like HRG a lot.
I think they've changed him quite a lot as well. Like, to begin with, anyway, he was kind of on the back foot for most of it, as opposed to like having a plan. And I kind of like the different context of that.
And it also looks like he's aged like 15 years. They did a good job doing that to his face.
I think that's where most of the VFX went to. Because it obviously wasn't like growing trees and stuff like that. But Miranda and Laura, I just want to know your take on something about the Haitian. How did you feel about how they revealed his name finally at the end of like season 4 or whatever it was? Do you guys even remember that?
When they revealed the Haitian's name?
Yeah, I remember thinking like, oh, what's HRG's name? Like, they keep on trying to say it, but they're never going to until that very end, and it felt like a really big moment. But when they revealed like the Haitian's name in like season 4, it was just like a kind of throwaway thing. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but do you guys have any recollection of how throwaway his name was?
I don't even remember.
It must have been really throwaway because I don't really remember it either.
It got Haitianed out of them.
I know.
It did.
It was literally like Claire was just like, come on, Renee, let's go. And I was like, what? Is that it? Oh, anyway, I probably am going to go with Hero. I really like what they did with him. It feels like, you know, getting him to future, like quote unquote, future hero finally.
He grew up,
yeah. And the fact that, you know, he kind of uses his powers properly now, and like just that little bit where he looks through all the different timelines, I was like just so amazed, and I was like, okay, let's just, as long as he doesn't die, we'll be fine. And he technically hasn't, because, you know, no body, no death, so yeah, we'll go with that. Him and Harris are just chilling in Odessa. They made friends. You know, it's just an odd couple comedy now, so yeah.
I would watch that.
So we did an interview with Tim, and he said that, like, if there was a season 2, he'd carry it on much like he did with Heroes Reborn, in the fact that he would tell a brand new story with a kind of new set of characters, but he'd interlink with the old show by bringing old people, like old characters back. So if there was season 2 of Heroes Reborn, which is obviously a very big if.
Well, yeah, because the sun's going to destroy everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, nobody's going to stop that.
Who are you going to bring into season 2? Let's start with James. Go on.
If he's not doing another amazing show, Luke.
I knew you were going to steal my answer.
Telenovela is going to pick up, and it's going to be a runaway hit. No, I'm joking. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, if they were going to do a whole new story and tie somebody else in, maybe somebody, you know, just from the Reborn.
Not just anyone from, like...
Or anyone from old Heroes, even.
Yeah, as well, yeah.
I don't know what happens to Peter. Like,
I think everyone's asking that question as well, so yeah.
Oh, nobody knows?
No.
It's open-ended.
Well, then bring him back. Tell what happened to him.
Yeah, what's Milo doing that he can't be on Heroes?
He's doing Gilmore Girls and talking about how much he hates Heroes Reborn. Basically,
did Siler die?
He time traveled into the future and grew big ears, apparently. So yeah, I think Quinto coming back is a possibility, because obviously, even though he's got Star Trek, he still was doing like American Horror Story for a bit. So yeah, exactly. The slap, exactly. I think he could come back for like a couple of episode run. But yeah, Laura, who would you bring back?
I'd bring back Casper or the Penny. Oh wait, no, he's dead.
Oh, bring him back anyway.
Wait,
yeah, you should bring him back.
After the butterfly? Maybe he's still alive. No, wait, that was after the butterfly.
That was after. I really wanted to know more about his character, but you know they killed him. So.
They could do a prequel season.
Yeah, they could do the in-between season, couldn't they? In between Heroes and Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, so that way we could find out what happened to Siler and Peter and all them. Yeah. No, if I could bring anybody back, I'd probably have to say Siler, because he's my favorite. And like, I think that they must have him on contract, because I don't know how else they would have gotten him to be in that slap show. So.
Fair enough. He's like, you got me. I'll do whatever piece of crap you can do to get me out of this contract. Oh, piece of crap. Did you say crap or slap? Did you say, I think he said slap. I think he wants to be on the slap show.
He wants to be the slapper, not the slappy. Miranda?
Well, since James stole Luke, that's who I would have. Because you could do the same thing with him and base a whole series about him, I think.
Mm.
Other than Luke.
And call it Chuck.
And call
Exactly,
it Chuck.
yeah.
I could take more Chuck.
Chuck Reborn.
I know they killed off all the people that I liked in the original series.
You know who I miss? Ando. I miss Ando.
I do
Yeah.
miss Ando. Especially after seeing him in that episode that we rewatched. I was like, oh, I miss Ando.
I've got so many theories that they're going to bring him back in this season.
In this season?
Yeah.
I don't know what James Tyson Lee is doing. I don't think he's doing anything. Is
I
he?
know. No, I saw him. He did a Periscope, and he was talking about how they basically didn't ask him to come back. But
What?
yeah, I'm still under the impression that like Matt is controlling a hell of a lot of people, and I think there's only one way that he can control that many people in a place, and that is a supercharger. And Ando's basically somewhere in Sunstone Manor, just charging that.
Oh, you think he's hooked up to the Matrix?
Yeah, and then we'll just get like a little pan across. He'll be there, and then they'll save him, and then he'll just disappear. Or Hero will come in and take him out.
I love it. You should be writing for Heroes Reborn.
You know what? You saying that gives me an idea of who I would like to see in the next series. Micah. I love Micah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So there you go. Another person that was hooked up to the Matrix that I would like to see in a second season.
Yeah, definitely. I think I just want HRG and Quentin kind of going out. Like, I keep on comparing it to like Quantum Leap, but they're basically going around writing what once went wrong in a buddy cop kind of way. I was just thinking like maybe he's going back to his old case files and just being like, well, I can help you now. And Quentin's just there with a snarky remark saying, I hate your face or something like that. But I could watch that for like 45 minutes. So yeah.
And they dress in drag every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one where they have to infiltrate a nunnery or something like that. And yeah, definitely.
I love it.
Not what you hate, but I call them sticking points of Heroes Reborn. So my initial sticking point with Heroes Reborn was the concept of Ever Now. And I knew that it was going to kind of pay off, but I also was like, this is ridiculous. And I compared it to like the writer's strike in season 2, just like how it's going to be the thing that's associated with that season of Heroes. Like if someone says it's bad, oh, it's because of the writer's strike or it's because of Ever Now. That was one of the things I really hated to begin with, but I'm glad that they kind of paid it off.
I think you either hated or loved Ever Now.
Yeah. One of your callers called in and was trying to explain it, and how it's bad quality, but of course it's bad quality because it's an MMORPG and they're always bad quality. And I was like, yes, you're just like me, a Heroes apologist, just trying to make sense of everything. But what is your kind of biggest sticking point of the season?
The terrible, terrible resolution of the butterfly that they stepped on, like going it back from the past into the future. I think it's too confusing. Like, and I'm not sure that that's something that they can come back from. Like, I feel like it's just, I have too many questions still about what exactly happened and like how it all changed. Like I feel like I need a whole nother episode showing me everything that changed through that entire timeline. But
is that because you got evil Quentin and you didn't want evil Quentin, or is that just because this is ridiculous?
Well, I had a hard time resolving evil Quentin because I didn't know how he knew all the information that he knew.
Yeah.
And 2, people being alive that were dead before. And I know somebody said it's because the Haitian didn't wipe his memory. Casper did, but I don't understand how the Haitian was supposed to be at the summit anyway, because HRG clearly said that he remembers just waking up at the summit and the Haitian wasn't there. So I'm just confused.
I will try and explain it as best I can now. So we talked to one of the writers, not the writers, but like one of the writers of the ebooks, and he basically had loads of scripts. And apparently the Haitian was at the summit, and him and HRG kind of had a chat beforehand, where he's sitting on the bench. So obviously that bit got cut out, so that would have made more sense.
See, that's all I needed was that scene to show me that, oh, the Haitian was at the summit. Okay. There we go. Everything's solved. But like, so it's like these little things that got left on the cutting room floor that are just confusing me.
They've kind of tried to explain it in the books, but a lot of people are hating the books. I don't mind them, but yeah. But then I also watched the Inside the Eclipse where the writers were just like, it's time travel. It's not real. We can get away with it. And I was like,
oh, no, don't ever do that to sci-fi fans.
I know.
What are you thinking?
I was like, really? Is this what we're going with? But yeah. Miranda, what was your sticking point?
Let's see. I really don't have any huge ones, things that bothered me.
Heroes Apologist. That's going to be season 2.
So, I will never apologize for season 2.
I mean, there are little things that people keep pointing out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I guess I'm like the writers. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's just a story. So, but yeah, no, I don't really have a sticking point. So I'll have to skip this question.
That's fair enough. James.
Yeah, the time travel stuff, like some things are inconsistent or unexplained that, what we've been mentioning already bothered me a lot. And one little thing, I mean, the Evernow story, I don't mind. I like the Katana Girl Ren offshoot, their own story. But what bothered me about Evernow was like, if you didn't want this place where you were holding Hero to be found, why do you have your logo on the castle? So people know that's your place.
They didn't do it. The designer guy did.
Ichiro.
Miko's father, but he was working for Erica.
But even so, like the guy said, I have programmers working around the clock to make sure they don't find this place. Nobody noticed that. Like
they're not intelligent.
Yeah,
they're
clearly
working for the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean that was a little thing, but I mean I guess it was just to move the story along quickly. They're like, oh, we're gonna cloak this place. 5 minutes later they're there. Like, come on. And also this undefeatable foe guarding.
Okay, that was funny.
Guarding the castle, and then 2 of them take him down in like 2 swipes in 2 seconds, and he's gone.
But that cost them about $250,000 just to do that, right? No, actually, probably not. It probably cost them quite a lot less because, it looks really shoddy. Sorry.
It was just funny to me.
Probably had like Masioka program it on his free time.
While he was working.
Because he used to work for George Lucas, didn't he?
Yeah, he worked for Lucasfilm.
It was in his off time on Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, those little things, but the time travel thing, the either unexplained things or inconsistencies are just those are the big things that got me annoyed, and also this little hiatus, poor scheduling.
Yeah, the hiatus doesn't feel like it was something that was actually meant to happen at all. It feels like because it's weird because when they first announced Heroes Reborn, they said it was going to start summer.
Yeah, it was supposed to start earlier than it did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have finished by now.
Yeah, but then they also should have just cut it at where it said...
After June 13th or something.
Yeah, or the reveal of the future. Like, if that had been the ending, season break done, wait until next year, I would have been fine with that. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But with 3 episodes left,
And it's not just that, it's the fact that they made, like... such a big deal about will one of your favorite heroes die in the week before trailer, and they blatantly make it obvious that no, he's not going to die, and this is who saved him. Yeah, we know kind of who saved him, or we can guess. So yeah, why
one or 2 people
exactly? But imagine if it's like future Tommy, and he's all in black, like future hero with the Cantana on his back and a little soul patch.
And he's like giant.
Imagine future Nathan, I guess. I don't know. That's confusing.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you guys feel about Malina? Because she's obviously as big a part in saving the world as Tommy, but she kind of feels like an afterthought, which is kind of indicative of Heroes writing, right?
I feel like they were like, we don't have enough female characters in this show. Let's make a whiny brat raised by Angela. I don't like her at all.
And give Tommy a girlfriend wannabe.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another thing I kind of don't like about this season is that there's no female lead, so to speak. I guess Erica, but she's the villain, and she kind of falls into that like this witchy lady who stereotype for like villains, they always have that kind of like, oh, she never had a boy who taught her how to be soft and feminine, and now she's all angry and the leader of a company and stuff like that. And I think that's a little bit lacking, and I think that's what they're trying to make like a lead character with her, but I think that her personality just kind of falls flat.
Malina annoys me. I don't like her character at all. And that's terrible to say. But the same way with Emily, I do. I feel like they're just afterthoughts thrown in. And which is really sad because the whole twin idea and the idea of, Tommy's power and her power being semi-connected, like it's cool. And we don't really get to, maybe we'll see in the next 3 episodes and I won't think Malina's annoying. But for right now, I'm not a fan.
And James, are we going to go for the clean sweep?
Boo. That's all I'm saying.
It's weird, but everything we know about Malina is that she is brave, bold, and ethereal. And that's the thing that she said, like, every interview about this character. And we don't even have any of those, really, do we?
I was like, what? Who's saying this? Because that is not what she is at all. Like,
right?
If that's what she thought she was, okay, but
that's how they sold her on the part.
So she was thinking of the last 3 episodes, how she acts.
I know, right?
Maybe.
I'm kind of like, Heroes Reborn is kind of going a bit over the top, and I'm fine. If they're going to go over the top, just run with it. And I really I think she's going to die, but also my stupid theory is that when they are next to each other, they basically become Voltron. And
I was going to say they merge, right?
Yeah, they merge, and they take over the world, and they're the reason. It's not the Healy, it's them. So they're not going to save the world, they're going to destroy the world.
Awesome.
If that happens, then I'm fine with it.
You know what? I kind of want to go back to another question, the sticking point thing. I actually have another point. Yeah. Nobody seems to be concerned about who the father of Claire's children is at all. Like, it's never brought up at all. Like, did she have a boyfriend before, or is she just suddenly pregnant? Like, is this immaculate conception in the Heroes world?
Was
like,
she breeded? Maybe she was breeded.
Oh, that's creepy. That's really creepy, Miranda.
Sorry. Well, they were trying to create somebody to save the world, so Erica made her breed. I don't know.
It's the Force. No, I'm joking. No, they actually do go into it in one of the ebooks, and it is kind of disappointing. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's just some guy at a bar.
Pretty much, yeah. It's weird.
It's terrible.
I know, right? Because me and Lilith were just like, it could be West. It could be like
That's
Alex.
What I said.
It could be any of these random people. We even went, it could be her and Gretchen, like, are still a couple, but they wanted a kid, so they got a surrogate kind of donation from Zach. So, that kind of works. We went through all these things, and then it was just like, oh, it's just some rando.
That's because whoever's writing the ebooks didn't watch the original series, I'm sure.
It's weird. A lot of the books are kind of off on tangents or about one kind of character who's kind of a minor character. So you can kind of get away with extrapolating and making kind of different things for him. But the one about Claire Bennett is just like, you knew it was going to be the one that everyone was going to hate, because they're like, this isn't what Claire would do. This isn't what this person would do, because they make a lot of callbacks to like other people. It's like, this is what this person would do. And everyone's calling for it just to be like erased from the canon, like Saving Charlie. So, yeah. We'll see.
Saving Charlie. See, I was another one that hated that book.
I quite enjoy it because I wasn't the biggest Claire fan towards the end, so I was like, yeah, you deserve it. No, I'm joking.
I feel like the writers probably have that same idea towards time travel. They're like, oh, well, no one will really care. Like, I don't think that whoever's writing the show and the ebooks, like, understand how much Heroes fans love Heroes and how much we actually want to know about stuff, because I feel like they're just kind of throwing details away, like, oh, it doesn't matter, like, it's just a show, like, nobody cares. And I'm like, no, I do care. I want to know what, like, these people's emotions and feelings and like what happens to them and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm very invested, so I think that's kind of grating on me a bit.
Not knowing their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I'm a Heroes apologist, so I'll just see the best in everything. So yeah, even now, when I first saw her, I was like, no. But yeah, I will apologize for everything, and not apologize, but I'll see the good in everything.
That's how I felt entire season 4. Like, I was like defending season 4 to like my death. Like, I love the carnival. I love the characters in the carnival, and like everybody's like, that was horrible, and all this stuff. So I understand how you feel about
Yeah.
like being the apologist.
We watched one episode from season 4, and not knowing anything, I was like, "Oh man, Ray Park is in it. I love this," because you never see Ray Park
Yeah.
in like his face, you know.
Yeah.
He's always covered up. But no,
Yeah.
I was exactly the same. I really love the concept of the carnival, and I thought it was a great concept. They just kind of dropped the ball with it. But every week you had Robert Knepper on the scene, just chewing the scenery, and I thought he was the best part of that season 4. So yeah.
I totally need to go back and watch that.
Yes, you do.
I know. I'm going to watch the whole series over again. I really am.
What do you how big of a part do you feel nostalgia is playing on Heroes Reborn? Because you've got a lot of people who look back and say season 1 is the best season and it can't compare to that. Do you think that this is the case, or do you think that people are just looking through this with jaded eyes?
I'm not really sure on that myself, but that is one of the reasons why I wanted to have James on and watch it without watching any of the old Heroes episodes. Like originally, we are we're rewatching some of our favorites now, but I wanted to see from his perspective, like if I'm just being too like a fangirl about this, like if I was going to be like, I love this no matter what happens, because I love the first season Heroes, I love the third season Heroes, I love the fourth season Heroes, the second season Heroes we don't talk about. But
I love the second season of Heroes.
It's just. But so I don't know. I feel like there is some nostalgia involved, but I feel like also that nostalgia is getting me in trouble because of I don't have the personalities that I had in the old show in this one. So
I think that for me, I sort of separated it from the beginning. It's like because I didn't want to get caught up in trying to compare it too much to the original series. So for me, I've been kind of separating it in my mind as just as another show about people with abilities. Yes, I love the fact that they brought back all of the characters, and that part of the nostalgia is great. But as far as the series as a whole, I've been trying to keep it in my mind as separate as possible. Though with the discussions that we've had, like people, and Laura and Jeff have pointed out things that are sort of similar in writing style to the first season. Like the writers were trying to harken back to that successful season.
Yeah.
Like especially with the going back and forward in time, like they did with June the 13th, and stuff like that. But for me, the nostalgia hasn't been a big deal. So I guess I don't know how to answer that question.
That's fine.
Because I like I said, I just tried to separate it.
I went back to the original season and watched them all, and I remember it being really good, but rewatching it, I was like, yeah, it's all right, but it doesn't half drag in the middle. So I was just like, well, Heroes season 1 wasn't the greatest thing that everyone was talking about. I wasn't a big fan of DL and Nikki, so having them like in the middle, I was just like, this is boring as crap. But I had to watch it because I wanted to watch it and talk about it for the podcast. But I don't know. I'm pretty much the same as you. I've tried to separate them. They're two different shows. You can't really compare the two because not only the context of how the show is, because obviously you got the heroes hiding in season 1 from like the first season from people who don't know about them to this season where people know about them and they're still hiding. So that's a different context. They feel like two different shows, especially with the time difference between the shows. But James, I wanted to ask you with this
I tried to separate the shows as well.
I wanted to ask you, like, do you watch a lot of other kind of superhero kind of television, and how do you think Heroes Reborn kind of compares to this kind of bloated powered genre that we're going through right now in TV?
I do not.
Oh.
The only things I really watch are things I happen to catch when I come home, and Laura will be watching like Arrow or The Flash. Like I catch that once in a while, but I'm not really watch, or I haven't given a lot of shows with like actual people in them a chance.
Okay.
You watch just like anime, cartoons,
fair
that
enough.
kind of thing. So like you have watched like the Justice League cartoons, and
Sure.
stuff, like, but that's a totally different type of feeling, I guess.
Yeah, but people are like, hey, these are our heroes. They don't. It's not like X-Men, where people are like, hey, these are, these people are, they should be outcasts, and there's fighting between, like, I was a big Superman fan, but people heralded him as like their savior, you know. So like, short answer, no.
How about you, Laura and Miranda? How do you feel like Heroes is faring against like all these kind of other superhero kind of shows that are out right now?
I think it's totally completely different because you got Arrow, which just, focuses on the one person and who everybody finds out about a secret, but
Yeah.
and which is, it's dark. I feel like they tried to go the Batman-y type route with it. And then you've got The Flash, which is more campy, and like those both feel very much like comic book entities. And then Heroes, I don't get that same sort of feeling, like, because I think there isn't, like, they never created such a huge backstory, or like it doesn't have that same history as the other superhero shows on television, so they don't have as much to pull from.
Yeah.
And also you don't know as much, like you're not constantly thinking, oh, is this character gonna be like, everybody thinks that Felicity on Arrow is going to become Oracle.
Yeah.
And like you're not constantly trying to figure out if somebody on the show has an alter ego that's another superhero. So I feel like it's a different watching experience, and I don't feel like it's that comparable. Okay. But I feel like in actual watching shows and enjoying them, I definitely look forward to watching Arrow and The Flash more than I'm enjoying Heroes Reborn right now. But
Miranda.
The only other superhero show that I watch consistently is Supergirl. I started to watch Arrow, but it was too much for me. Even though I wanted to watch it for John Barrowman, I couldn't. I started to watch Gotham, and I watched like 3 episodes and decided not so much. It wasn't my thing. I'm not a big Batman fan, so that's probably why.
Probably why you didn't like Arrow either, if you're not a huge Batman fan. Because the Green Arrow is essentially Batman.
Batman on TV, yeah.
Yeah. I never started watching The Flash, though I've heard that it's cute. So really the only one I watch is Supergirl, because I like Superman and Supergirl. But that's such a different beast that it's not really even comparable at all, other than the fact that they try to focus on the human aspect of superhero-dom, I guess. So for me, I can't really compare a whole lot. But I think Heroes in general has always been more about the human aspect of characters with abilities, as opposed to the fighting bad guys aspect of superhero abilities. So for me, it's a completely different beast.
Well, are you looking forward to like a superhero team up in Heroes Reborn? Because I am.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for all of them to get together. Like, having them separated doesn't make it any fun.
Especially for poor Carlos.
Oh, he's all alone. Another one without abilities who
being attractive and all that.
Exactly, with the abs.
Flash his abs. Flash your abs some more.
I'm really sad that he doesn't have an ability, because I really thought that he had that, like, how things work type ability.
Yes, definitely.
To make ladies swoon. and some men.
That's an ability.
I said that he had the kind of Siler ability when he first popped up, because he said something about the car and he knew straight away how it worked.
Yeah. I thought it was a callback.
But then also, like, he builds, like, this machine and this car, like, really quickly.
Yes.
This superhero suit. So the only thing I can think of is that I wouldn't be opposed to him having kind of some kind of technological aptitude, is the best way I can say it. Like Forge from the X-Men. He can just think of something and build it.
Right.
It's not very offensive, but, it can be. So
it's useful.
Yeah.
That's what I really wanted, because I thought, like, oh man, he could like build like cool ways to like bring the heroes together, because they're already like stringing them together in those pod chairs.
Yeah.
So they could have like used him, even if he was on the evil. Well, we don't know if it's evil per se side, and like used it to improve their systems or something like that. Like, I would have been on board for that, but now he just keeps getting beat up and kind of making out with people. And
she shot an innocent deer. They are evil.
But it makes sense, because like then him and Micah could be like super bros or something like that, because they both have that kind of technological kind of thing. And Emily, is anyone else suspicious of Emily? Because I think she's too nice. apart from, the whole just dumping her boyfriend without even telling him and then just making out with Tommy. But yeah.
I feel like her boyfriend's gonna make a big comeback in some way. Like he's just gonna show up and be like, "Hey guys, I'm back," and then get hit by a car or something. But like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Emily. I really was. I think we talked about it that we thought that Emily might be a double agent, and then now I feel like we were just looking into it and hoping.
Oh no, I totally think she's a double agent. I wouldn't be surprised if she was like working for an artist the whole time and had like some power of persuasion or something like that to make Tommy fall in love with her or something. I don't know.
I don't know. All I think she's almost as annoying as Malina, maybe more annoying than Malina. I'm disappointed because they had these two characters that they could have done something with, and instead I feel like they've been throwaways.
They could have done like, because we keep having like these hopes for them, like, oh, she's gonna be a double agent and it's gonna be awesome, and like that they actually have roles, and then it's just like, oh no, they're just as lame as you thought they were. So I guess that's cool.
Well, talking about badly written women, let's go on to Joanne and how you guys feel about her, because I think she is one of the... I think it's fair to say that nearly everyone in the Heroes fandom absolutely despise Joanne, and probably for the wrong reasons. So what is your take on Joanne? I'll start off with you, James.
Well, yeah, I didn't like her. I was trying to think of something nice to say. I liked the way she went crazy and cut up Captain Cold there first.
I was like, that's not that guy from...
Oh, it's not a Flash enemy.
What was his name in the credits? Ice.
Mick the Ice Cream.
Mick the Ice Man.
Yeah,
the Ice Guy.
Great name.
I mean, that was, you got a glimpse into her plunge into insanity. That was, I don't like her at all. It's just going off the deep end. I mean, yeah, your son died, but come on. Like,
I almost think she had to be a sociopath to begin with. Yeah. There's no way that trigger could make that much of a difference in a person's personality.
Because they portray her as like so sweet and like wonderful, like before like everything happens, and then all of a sudden she's like stabbing people with scissors, which I know that they were trying to do because it's like Siler killing his mom and everything. But I think that the problem they're having with Joanne is that, okay, we get she's a villain, but like give us stuff that like we can enjoy. Like with Siler, he always had he always had like snarky comments that he made, and you're like, oh, ha, 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 that's funny, and we can kind of look past the horrible things that you're doing. I mean, because nobody just wants to watch somebody be evil all the time. Like, I don't know, like, because with the other shows where you have evil character, or like, well, not evil, but like murderers or something as like the main character, like Dexter, or that Hannibal show, like Mads Mikkelsen is Hannibal, like he's just oozes like confidence and suaveness, and is really awesome. And then on Dexter, you've got his entire family that he's very sweet with, so it gives him some sort of redeeming qualities that you can kind of get on board with. And with Joanna, there's no redeeming qualities at all. You can't even be like, oh, well, she really loved her son. Like, I don't even feel that. Like, she's just crazy.
But what would happen if at the end she survived and was a lumberjack working in Seattle?
Hey, they said they're going to go back and fix that, so we'll see how that goes.
I feel the same way. She had to have the crazy tendency from the start. There's no way that... I mean, yes, losing a child is the worst thing a person can go through. I know my mom and dad went through it. My sister was 17 when she died. So, yes, losing a child is awful, but it doesn't take you from a nice, sweet person to a psychopath. So that character is really unbelievable for me. And one, in her motivations, and they really haven't given her anything other than that as a motive for why she thinks, oh, well, you know what? Just because this one person killed all these people, I'm going to go kill every single person with abilities. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for too much in her, because I feel like they should give us more information about her. If she's really a psychopath, at least give her motivation other than this one event. I don't know.
Maybe she's the ultimate lawn con.
It's a long con.
No, you know how Harris picked her up at the end of that one, near the end of that one. She's actually a Harris. That they went through like crazy reconstructive surgery and gave her estrogen and stuff, and
transgender.
She's a Harris.
That would be a totally left field.
And
That would
she
be.
was with
No,
this guy for
because
years. Making him
if
think she
if
loved
you
him.
cut it to a Harris, wouldn't he turn to salt? So you couldn't give him reconstructive surgery.
True.
I just
man, but it
blew
would have been
your
so
whole
good.
theory out of the water.
She's the second Harris. You get saltier with the more Harrises. Like, she can handle it.
She's Harris's twin.
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
Because they love twins now, don't they?
How about? Oh.
She's just disappointing because
Trying to
I agree. If you're gonna have a bad guy, at least give them something that makes you care about them being bad. Like Siler's whole backstory and his personality were enough to make you interested in what was going on with him. Her backstory and her personality, there's nothing there.
And it's even like if she was just a complete psychopath and has been just playing the part of like wife the entire time, she hasn't gone past the psychopath line enough to be like, oh, she's an interesting character. Because I feel like if she had shot Luke when she was leaving, I feel like I would have been more interested almost. I like if she had just walked away a bit and then been like, you know what, no, and then turned around and like
got an ability and shot him. Yeah.
I would have been way more on board with her, I think, after that. But the fact that she just kind of walked away from him was like, oh, I don't get her character.
Imagine that 4 episodes in and Zach Levi's character's killed off.
Oh, yeah, I would have been so sad.
Well, she could have shot him and him not die. I mean,
well, yeah, because he probably would have released his power at that point.
Yeah, and knocked the bullet away.
Yeah, or gotten away or something. But if she had shot at him, killing him or not killing him, I feel like I could have gotten more into her character after that.
Very Malcolm Reynolds, Han Solo shoot first type of thing.
Yeah.
Han Solo didn't shoot first.
Don't even start with.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke.
We have literally just bitched about some of these characters for the whole podcast. I feel like we have to kind of bring it round because otherwise we've got the Debbie Downer on the podcast again.
I will say I loved Cool Nathan. Like, I thought he was like, when he was ready to go, like, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. That guy was awesome, and then they ruined him.
Sorry.
Well, again, you turned it from good thing into now I'm complaining about stuff again.
It's hard. It's hard not to do.
We can talk about the things that we really liked about the Heroes Reborn, which I do have points that I really enjoyed. First thing, I really enjoyed some of the new characters. Like, I really love that we got to see more people with more different type of abilities. Like the penny guy. I thought that power was awesome. I don't know why he needed pennies to do what he did, but I thought it was super cool that he just lugs around this giant suitcase full of pennies. And like, I do like Malina's power. I think that's cool.
What is her power though? Because
we called it Captain Planet power.
It's Captain Planet, but how is she like controlling bees and like butterflies, bringing them back to life? I have no idea about that, unless that's the heart part of
she's Mother Nature.
Captain Planet.
Yeah, she's just controlling all of nature.
Fair enough.
I like seeing the different powers that I like. Some of the powers that they chose. I like, and the whole summit thing was interesting. Yeah. Seeing all the people come together, and I liked Mick the Ice Guy. I thought he was cool, and I'm glad that they gave him more of a part than just being like, I made a snowball at the beginning of the episode. I like that they did call back to like certain things, and I like HRG's storyline. Like, I wasn't on board with it at first. Like, he's bumbling around and not doing anything. This is so different from the HRG that we knew from the old series, but as it kind of went along, like, I'm like, man, I really love HRG and Quentin's like buddy cop situation that they're in. So there are points of Heroes that I like.
Well, y'all know how I feel about Katana Girl and the Ren sidekick. I love that. I love their whole relationship / adventure thing going on.
Do you think Ren is a construct as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then. That's good.
Yes, I do.
Because I was thinking about that, because the father said, I sent you to her or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah, I sent him to you, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, is he? That will make everything all right, that they can kind of be together because they're both computer game characters, whereas at this moment it feels not racist, but like, Japanese man with a weird fetish. But that's just me.
other things that I like. Like, I like the connection that they brought with Tommy / Nathan and Hero being the one to raise him. And that's like that whole storyline. I thought that was really cool.
It was adorable too, and they like hand him the baby, and they're like, "Oh, you're a father now," and he's like, "What do I do?"
Yeah.
I was like, "It's so cute."
Yeah. Well, and because I was one of the ones who always thought that I would have loved to have seen Hero and Charlie have a little special baby. I loved Charlie and Hero together. But anyway, so it was cool that whole storyline I thought was adorable and fitting actually with the character. Actually, I liked that Claire was gone. Is that a thing? Is that a positive?
Oh man, so did I.
I was glad that Hayden Panettiere couldn't come back.
I like that Claire didn't come back, but the fact that she was still essentially a character throughout the whole season kind of did great on me, because I was like, you had more than enough screen time in seasons 1 to 4 of Heroes. It all being about you. Why are we still doing this? But yeah,
that didn't bother me so much as long as I didn't have to watch her character anymore.
Such Claire hatred.
So dead on a bed was too much for Randy. Or Ricky, sorry.
I don't know. I'll agree with Laura. I liked the HRG and Quentin bromance thing going on where they were on their own little adventure together and they became such fast friends, or at least on HRG's side, they became fast friends. And honestly, the 2 episodes I loved the most were the June the 13th episodes. I loved both of those episodes, and I thought that they were the most well-constructed of the episodes this season.
I liked the Harrises and the Ren and Katana girl. Like, I've already touched on that earlier. That's
fair enough.
I'm still hopeful.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in one of our episodes, but I agree with Miranda that I like those 2 June the 13th episodes. I feel like they're the most well constructed, and I feel like if they hadn't been trying so hard to follow like the old Heroes type of storyline where like you plug along for a while and then go in the past and show what happened and stuff like that and then go back to the future. I feel like if they had just started off with the June the 13th and showed us all the details and then jumped forward to like HRG without his memory, living with his new fiance or whatever, I feel like the show might have flowed a bit better for me. I don't know. Like, I feel like if it had been written that way, it might have been less confusing. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's right. There was a woman that he was with.
I think her name was Caitlin. No, sorry, that's season 2. I really like Evil Matt Partman. I think he's great. I like Hero because I've always liked Hero. I also liked Casper. I thought he was introduced very much like HRG in the way that, you know, you don't know whether he's a good guy or a bad guy.
A funny thing about Parkman, every time they went up to his face, I'd ask her, like, did they do that on the old show? Like, that friggin' close? Like, were his eyeballs, like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. That's all. It was just weird to me how close up, it was just like super fishbowl lens to his face whenever he's trying to get in somebody's mind. And
he's getting a bit sweaty because it's a bit hot in the room. Yeah.
They did, but not to that extent like they do in this one. Now, what are your top 3 episodes? We said June the 13th.
Oh, okay. Third, it was Game Over because of Hero returning. It was June 13th, part 1. And I also slyly brought in Heroes Reborn Dark Matters to be my favourite episode because I thought that was probably the best constructed episode of Heroes that there has been. Because if you piece them all together, it's essentially 46 minutes. And I really I think Heroes Dark Matters is probably one of the best webisodes they've ever done, hands down. And it's a really good episode as well. So, yeah.
I feel like Dark Matters is all to blame for me being such a Debbie Downer because I got so excited after watching Dark Matters. Like, yes, this is awesome. I love Phoebe's power. And I think it's super, I'm like, you don't exactly know what it is, but even in the webisodes, they show that it shuts other powers down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I love Quentin. And I'm so on board for this show. And then it was like, okay.
Oh, that's how I was too. Remember, you were like, "Oh, what? Heroes is coming back." I'm like, "What?" And you told me about the webisodes, and I started watching those, and I was so excited. I'm like, "We're doing a podcast. We're doing a podcast. I want to come back." Like I was too. But and I still feel that a little bit when I'm watching some of the episodes, but I do think that it set the bar really high. So I'll agree with that. That was really well done.
I think it got you into the mood for Heroes as well, and
Mhm.
it sets the tone for where Heroes Reborn should have gone in the kind of. I like that, it starts off being like, oh, there was a guy on the Tonight Show who boiled some water. It kind of felt like, heroes were celebrities at this point, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden you get that switch, and it's just like, oh, this is dark, but not Arrow dark, I guess. But yeah, whatever.
Dark Matters.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Having not seen the old ones, and we watched the webisodes first, like you should. I thought, wow, I really enjoyed these. I'm really looking forward to having even not having seen the because it was all new characters. I was really looking forward to the Reborn. I still am. I'm still curious to see how it ends up.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the finale? Who do you reckon is going to bite the dust?
Everybody? No, I don't know. I feel like maybe HRD. I don't know.
Really?
There's really
Think
nothing.
They
so?
can't do it.
There's really like nothing tying him to everybody else. Like, yeah, he's the grandfather of Nathan. Well, not Nathan and not Tommy and Malina, but I feel like Melina's probably gonna die.
Yes,
And
definitely.
then,
Do you think that he'll go that route this time? Because in the first Heroes, that was the original plan. The original plan was the first season was going to have these characters, and then we were going to move on, and they were going to be new characters in the second season. But he gave in and didn't kill off all of those characters in the finale, and instead brought almost all of them into the next season.
He's also done that in this season as well. Let's be honest, the only person who's died is Casper. Even though
Mhm.
the Haitians died and Quentin's died, they've been brought back. It's
Mhm.
very much like Heroes, the original Heroes, where they'll find a way to kill someone, then bring them back. But no, I think he's going to kill some people off. I reckon. We always thought Quentin was going to die. I don't know about that anymore, but
We were just watching an old episode from season 4, right? With
yeah.
and Nathan had died or whatever,
yeah.
the old Nathan, and Laura joked about how it's kind of a running gag where like Nathan dies in every season, but he comes back somehow.
Mhm.
well, yeah, he's like supposed dead or like
Mm.
because after the first season, like he explodes,
Mhm.
and then second season he gets shot or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's every season, and now it's going to carry on. It's going to carry on in this one with his namesake. He's going to potentially die and come back as, I don't know, past Tommy.
You think Tommy will die?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of do. No, I think I think Melina's a definite for the chopping block because she's just started filming Jack Reacher 2 or something like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, she's out.
Yeah, and what was that about Angela saying about not having the heart to tell her something?
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody's gonna die. Somebody's got to die.
I figure Luke will die, even though I don't want him to. I feel
Well,
like
he's got to take in the radiation. He's gonna take it
Yeah,
all.
I
Blow
figure
up.
that's his redemption story, is he's going to
Yeah.
save the world by dying.
Yeah, he's dead as well. Uh, well, no, Zachary Levi was like, well, I like this because it's 13 episodes. I don't have to constrain myself to like a year's worth of working on
Yeah.
one show. I can just dip in and out of this. So I think he's good with one season. But yeah,
I almost wish that Netflix would pick it up so Netflix can release them all at one time and I can just have like Heroes Reborn season 2 marathon.
And it could be so much darker. Like, what if Kilgrave was on Heroes?
I wouldn't
Now
know.
that I think, I mean, they had one, but
Yeah.
Sylar threw her in the lake. So I feel like if it really got darker, like because
And they could swear.
Yeah. They could be. It would be explicit on the iTunes.
Get nudity and everything.
I don't need nudity unless Luke Cage comes over to Heroes. But sorry, I just watched that whole thing, so it's fresh in
your mind.
Yeah.
I agree with it. I would like a second season if it was no longer on NBC because I feel like they don't care about it anymore. I feel like they brought it back because all these other shows are coming back. Like they're making all these like Twin Peaks and X-Files and Prison Break and all that stuff. They're making all these
Prison Break is
miniseries.
coming back?
Apparently so.
That's what
yeah.
I've heard. Yeah. I feel like they're just trying to cash in on the whole situation and they don't care. I feel like if it was on like Netflix or, you know, someplace else, that they would actually like care about it because they would want to grow it as a viable, money-making brand. I think that I would like it.
Well, NBC are kind of doing that at the moment, aren't they, with the whole ebooks? Or is that more Tim's stuff? I don't know. They've got the ebooks, the games, all the comics. They've got a magazine as well out. You know, they're
I think
trying.
Tim cares, but I feel like maybe the network is just like, make stuff. We don't care what the storyline is. Just put it out there. Like, I don't know.
Make us money.
Yeah.
Nothing but cash.
Exactly. So I just want to say thank you to the guys from HeroesCast 2.0 for coming on. Do you guys want to give your shameless plugs?
The shameless plugs, you can find us at HeroesCast on Twitter. You can find us at HeroesCastReborn.com and on Facebook at HeroesCast.
Download the podcast, Save the World.